Welcome to my office, guys. It's Public Domain Superheroes. James here, and we're doing another author chat. This time I've got Austin, who on Substack you would know as A.S. Chambers. Austin writes a series of fascinating novels about a character named Sam Spallucci and the SpallucciVerse, which I cannot wait to talk about. To me, Austin, your character sounds like what John Constantine would be if he was married, if somebody, if he and Sam Spade had a baby, basically. That's what I got from our chat.
Yeah, it's I've had him compared to Constantine before, which is all right because I've never read the comics and I've never watched the films purposefully because I didn't want to be sort of like influenced by that sort of thing.
Very good.
It's sort of like I always say it's like Sam Spade has been rewritten by Douglas Adams and Terry Pratchett with a dose of The Exorcist in there as well. It's that sort of thing.
Very good. I love all that very British writing humor. I'm a huge fan of The Hitchhiker's Guide and reread it every May and put a towel on, the whole bit. So if you're writing stuff like that, I'm reading it. So the first time learning of it is this week when we started talking. It's not new. This is something you've been doing for
a while. I mean, I first came up with the idea of Sam way back when I was at school. It's actually developed in the back of a chemistry lesson. Scribbled notes down, all that sort of business. And then he sort of like boiled away while I was doing other things and being an author, as you do when you're in your 20s, and very pretentious, but actually getting nowhere. And then I came back to everything in my late 30s. And I thought, well, let's really see what we can do now. And the first book, Casebook Sam Spallucci, came out in 2012. And to date, there's 8 novels, a couple of shorts to go with those, but also a whole expanded SpallucciVerse, which follows different characters through short stories, novellas. And I basically just have a whale of a time exploring all these different threads leading towards these events. And yeah, it's good fun.
That's fantastic. So, okay. I have not had a chance to buy one of these or read one yet. We've only talked about it briefly on Substack.
Sure.
But I'm fascinated by the idea of a supernatural detective sort of. To me, I mean, we mentioned Constantine because that's where I come from, is the comic book world where and television, where Constantine. I don't really like the movie. I'm not a big fan, but I do like the TV show. The TV show, the guy who played him, I like Constantine because they based him on Sting visually, right. And I was a huge Sting fan in my teens, so it all kind of married together. If you're doing something similar, but you're throwing in Douglas Adams to it, how does that work? I mean, are these serious things where he just has a funny attitude, or are they funny stories? How does it all work?
It's best way to describe it is it is film noir, but it's like a modern take. It's very much Sam's first person, like you would expect from Philip Marlowe, like you would expect from Mickey Spillane, that sort of thing. But it is set in modern times in my home city of Lancaster. So you've got the sort of like the quirkiness of it being in sort of like just normal locations rather than exotic locations. And I'm not taking them off to Edinburgh or London or Oxford in the UK or so like New York or LA or anything like that. It's just a normal market town. Okay. But there happens to be these supernatural shenanigans going on in the background. There's vampires, there's werewolves, there's mummies, and we've got a great big apocalypse coming in the future. So on the one hand, you've got sort of like that quirky humor in there because Sam's always got his like inner thoughts going on, and if something's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong. But then occasionally you just go, oh hell, that was dark, and the tone will shift. It's going to, because you are dealing with forces which are making Sam do things which he may not want to do, and things which other people say, well, that was rather questionable. And so you've got the humor, but then you've got things like, say, they're going to make you hide behind the sofa as well.
Oh, very good, very good. I can't make people hide behind the sofa. I've actually had this discussion recently on Substack, and I'm contemplating. I opened my concept with 4 houses, one of which was horror, mainly for a balance and for somewhere to do the dark stories. It turns out I don't write dark. I'm not writing that. I mean, I do dark ideas, but and they just tend, when I write them, they tend to be more comic booky. That's how I write. It's a more fun take on. It's still awful. Like, the ideas that I'm using there's still some horrible things that happen, but I don't tend to write. At least when I reread them, I don't feel like, ooh, that's too much. I never go to, for whatever reason, I never seem to get there. I try, but it never seems to happen. So you're doing. I don't want to compare, but when you were talking about the small market town and all of the sort of supernatural stuff happening, and under that top layer, the first thing my head went to was Sunnydale and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because you're thinking about a funny take on horror, a take that's got a little bit of a humorous bite to it, as well as doing the dark, which Buffy did that. I mean, Buffy really did.
Absolutely, it's fantastic.
And is that a fair comp for readers? Because I don't want to pigeonhole you as the guy who's writing a male Buffy, because obviously that's not what you're doing. But for a reader who's coming to it for the first time, if they're a Buffy fan, are they going to feel like they found something new that fits their vibe?
I think they're going to find something similar sort of genre. I always say that the Sam books aren't horror as such; they're urban fantasy. I don't go down to like the blood, guts, and gore like you would have with some of the King books, James Herbert, and all that sort of malarkey stuff I grew up on. I don't really enjoy, like I say, it's not something I enjoy writing, but I like that sort of like the paranormal side of things. I like the mythological side of things. My background is actually in ancient mythology. My degree many years ago was religious studies, but looking at ancient Hinduism, ancient Christianity, ancient Judaism, looking at mythology, how it all ties together. And in writing the books, I've come back to all of this. And in fact, there's some of the books underneath my laptop at the moment, usually to prop it up. So they've got multi-purpose. They multitask these things. They're wonderful.
Books are wonderful.
But yeah, I mean, myths are great because I think people can relate to them at a very sort of like core level. You know, these myths have been around for thousands of years, sometimes millions of years. You know, when you think about it, when people were first talking about things around the first fire, you know, we've probably got myths today which have evolved and evolved and evolved. So if I'm using things in a similar sort of vein, then people can say, oh yeah, I can recognize that. I can feel that. I see where this is coming from. And I think that's something which Whedon did very well in Buffy.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is why it worked.
Mythology is a wonderful wellspring for storytelling. For me, I've said, and it's not me that's saying this because it's been around as an idea for a long time. Our modern mythology is the superhero. This is this is our century's take on creating its own mythology. This is what we've done with it, because I promise you that 200 years from now, and you and I are long gone, there will be a hermit in a cave somewhere who will know that Batman's parents were killed in an alley, and he became the Dark Knight because of it. It's just one of those things that it's pervading the culture in a way that most storytellers wish they could do. And the comic book has done that by sort of combining media and taking itself beyond the initial storytelling phase into sort of a more kids play these characters as children, adults dress up as them at conventions. They have toys, all this, and it's very much, I think, our craving for what you were talking about, for our craving for a mythology that we all sort of share. And I think just as human beings, we've always wanted that. We've always wanted that sort of core value stories that we all can share and everybody can relate to.
Absolutely.
what you're talking about, it pops into that in such a beautiful way. I love it. I cannot wait to read some of these books. I am really looking forward to this. So Amazon, are they all there? Like we can go.
Yeah, they are on Amazon. I publish independently, so they get listed basically wherever you can buy books, wherever you can buy ebooks as well. So not just on Amazon. What I would recommend for most people is if you go onto my website, aschambers.co.uk, there are links there, and you can buy them direct from my independent or like publisher. So rather than a certain Mr. Bezos getting lots of money, more goes into my pocket, which is always nice, you know.
Excellent. This is a great idea. That's fantastic. I love that. What I will suggest is when we're done and this gets published, because it goes on my YouTube channel.
Cool.
The reason I try to keep these short to 15 minutes is because the attention span of the average internet user is very short. So go to my channel once it's up and put all that in one of the comments below it.
I will do, buddy.
That's where people are going to see it, and they'll see it on Substack and all the rest of it. Hopefully, all you Substack guys are still watching, because that's we want this to be part of. And I'm going to plug this again. If you're an author on Substack, DM me. I want to do one of these. I'd like to do a couple a day. I love doing this. This to me is because I live alone, I work alone, I publish alone, I shop alone. Everything I do is just me. And this is my human connection. This is fantastic for me. I love this. So if you're out there and you're trying to find a way to get your books in front of people and talk about them, and you want to talk about them like Austin, you're enthusiastic and have something fun to share, talk to me. I'm all over it. Let's do it. So this is great. So what's next? What's coming after? What's on the pipeline?
Right. So at the moment, I'm sort of like just waiting for the artwork for Sam 8, which is called Dare the Dragon. No, sorry, Sam 9, which is Dare the Dragon. It should have been sort of like last year, but unfortunately my artist has been in the process of moving house, so that snarled everything up for him. So that's going to be coming out later on this year. I'll have a Kickstarter for that probably over the summer. I normally do a Kickstarter for each of my books. And while that's sort of like mulling around, hopefully for people buying it, I'm currently working on the final Sam Spallucci book, Sam 10, which is Dance of Death. But I've got 4 novellas on the go regarding the history of one of the vampires, Tigress. So that's going to be the Blood Red quadrilogy. I'm also working on a couple of books which are coming after the Sam books finishes, which everything draws in. More short stories on the side of that. It's a continual thing.
You're going to put all this on Substack. You're going to make sure that all this gets up on Substack so that we can share it with everybody, because this is we were discussing before all this started how great it was to be here, because it gives us this opportunity to share with other authors who then in turn enthusiastically share our work further on. We want to see it on Substack. And of course, this is where this is coming from, is I'm doing this on the Substack recording studio. So definitely put all this stuff up there. You sound like you've got my entire summer's reading list already. I have no idea how I'm going to do all this reading that I've got to do. I keep running across stuff that I cannot wait to read, and there's so much.
You just find such good stuff on here, don't you? And it's
great. It's fantastic. Now you've done 8 books. Do you have you gotten it down to the point where you're basically writing and formatting and editing and doing all that on your own, or do you have like a team?
Yeah, it's all me. The only thing I don't do is the artwork for the covers. Everything else is on me. I'm purely self-published. Have my own imprint, Basilisk Books, which is basically just my books. It might expand to other people at some point, but I just enjoy the writing process.
That's
when I first set out, I thought, oh yeah, I'll do a few on my own and I'll get a deal and such and such. And I started talking to authors who had big publishing deals, and I'm thinking, but you're still having to do all the same work I'm doing. You're having to go and promote your books. You're getting paid a pittance for it,
and handing the money over to somebody else.
And they're telling you what to write. Why would you let somebody else tell you what to write? This is a creative art. You know, I couldn't do that. It really frustrated me.
That's a fantastic take. And all you Substackers, take note. there are advantages to being independent in this business. I mean, most of us, and I'm just the same, most of us start out thinking, okay, I'm going to write the novel of novels. I'm going to get an agent. I'm going to get a deal. I'm going to get a movie. I'm going to get a TV show. I'm going to get rich. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to write a book every 2 years, and it's going to be great. Well, that happens to what? Maybe 10 people in a generation?
Yeah.
You know, it's a very small percentage. Most writers are people like you're talking about, Austin, are guys and girls who are out there putting out books at the behest of a publisher that maybe they wouldn't do if they had another choice. They would maybe prefer, and for me, I mean, I don't make a dime doing this. I'm having a hard time getting traction in terms of financial, but I write what I want. I write what I love.
Yes.
And if people out there are reading it, then that's a win. And regardless of, you know, if it's only 10 people, well, then it's only 10 people. But I'm hoping you're out there.
Yeah.
So
on my
my
YouTube channel, I've got a little thing where I do 1 minute writing workshops, and one of the videos I actually published last year was about when you're writing, you need to make sure that you are doing it for yourself. You need to be doing something which you enjoy, and remember that it is an art form. You know, don't let people tell you you've got to do this for money, you've got to do this because it's such whatever. No, do it because you enjoy it. There's so many people say, oh, I'm writing, I'm finding it hard, I'm not enjoying this. And I said, well, you're doing something wrong. What is it? Well, my publisher was, that's what you're doing wrong. You know, it's you write what you want. Yeah. You know, and then you will enjoy it.
I agree. I 100% agree. And for like I said, for myself, I was talking to somebody on can't remember if it was Reddit or Substack, where we were talking about agents. And I mean, I have a separate email for all of my agent rejections, and that's all it is. It's a whole email full of 100+ rejections from 2 novels that I've tried to shop to traditional publishing agents. I've never tried to shop my current project. This is a whole. It developed because I got tired of looking at that email every day, and seeing more rejections about books that I thought were fantastic, that I worked really hard to put together. And those will come. They are coming, but they're not. They were done in the traditional sense of write the book, write the bones of the book, write the pitch to the agent or to the publisher, and worry about polish later. I never got to the polish stage. But even with just pitching them, I was getting nowhere. And I've in 6 months, I've published 7 books. I mean, I'm doing it myself. They're self-published, but I published 7 books. That's the meat on that, is that I've published 7 books, and you've published way more than that, because you just decided that all of that stuff that is out there for the traditional way of doing things, 21st century, you do not have to do that in order to get your stuff in front of people. So it's not
very true.
You know, so that's fantastic. Austin, I have had, this has been, we actually are coming in. This is perfect. We're just about 20 minutes now. So
nice.
You've got, I'll give you the floor. One more, what else would you like Substack to know about the SpallucciVerse that we haven't already talked about?
Basically, if you're going to read any books first in the SpallucciVerse, read the very first one, because they do follow on. I've had some strange people go, I don't understand this book. Well, which one did you read? Such and such. Well, that was the 5th one. Perhaps you go back first. So Casebook of Sam Spallucci is the very first one, and you can find it on my website, aschambers.co.uk. Links there for all my socials, links for YouTube. There's videos got there. I've got a Patreon. I've got all the usuals. Just go on the website, have a little browse, and see what tickles your fancy.
Fantastic. Well, everybody on Substack, do that. And if you're out there and you're an author and you're looking to do a little chat with me and get some video that you can use to promo your own stuff, DM me. I'm happy to do it. I can't wait. I'd love to meet you. So to Austin, A.S. Chambers on Substack, thank you very much for all your time. We'll be chatting again soon. When the book is ready to go, let me know, and we'll do another one of these, and we'll hold it up and we'll sell it.
Fantastic.
We'll do what we can. Right on. It's been fun. Talk to you again soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.